We've familiarized ourselves with the C major scale. Let's move on to its next closest relative, the G major scale, a scale that you are going to get so much mileage out of. I'm not gonna lie. You're gonna love this scale and you're gonna play it all the time. So we're starting with example 1, which is a simple ascending version of the G scale in 1 octave, and it starts on the open G string. Go ahead and play that with me. 2nd fret, 2nd finger. That's an A note. That's the 2nd note. Open B. That's the 3rd note. And then a C with your 1st finger. That's the 4th note. Now your 3rd finger will reach up and play a D note. That is the 5th. Open E is the 6th. Your 2nd fret, 2nd finger. That's an F sharp, and that's our 7. And that resolves to G there on the 3rd fret. Okay? Then we descend to the same scale. Go ahead and play this with me real slow. The high G note. Descending. 2nd fret. Open E now. Then we have a D note, 3rd fret of the B string. A C on the 1st fret. Open B. 2nd fret of the G string. Open G. So there you go. There's 1 octave of the G major scale, ascending and descending. Good idea to try to learn your notes while you're doing this. You know, think about that's G, so the next note is A, the next note is B, and so on. And I will reveal to you that the only accidental, meaning sharp or flat, is an F sharp. That's the only accidental you have to deal with. So you can just count your way up and down this scale, and it'll help you to learn your notes. How about the low octave? Example 2, that's a low G, okay, 3rd fret of the low E string, 3rd finger. And then your open A string, that's the 2, the 2nd note. And then 2nd fret of the A string, that's a B, which is the 3rd note of the scale. Now your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, that's a C, 4th note of the scale. Open D, that is a D, and it's the 5th note of the scale. E, which is the 2nd fret of the D string. That is the 6th note of the scale. Now we involve our 4th finger and we reach all the way up to the 4th fret. Remember, you can shift a little bit if you need to get all the way up snug against that fret. That's your F sharp in the lower octave, the 7. And then open G. Your root note, your tonic note, okay? Now we'll descend, same order of notes, starting on your open G, down to your 4th finger, 4th fret of the D string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret, open D, C, 3rd fret of the A string, B, 2nd fret, open A, and then your low G note. Okay? Remember, the high E string is the same set of notes as your low E string. It's 2 octaves higher. So what is this note? Just like on the high E, it's an F sharp. And then what is that? Just like your high E, it's an E, a low E. Our G major scale exercise is basically just ascending and descending as we did with our C scale, with one little twist in it, and that is we have these low pickup notes, the E and the F sharp, and that happens on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the whole thing goes all the way up and continues to the next octave, and then we stop on the high G, and then we start a descent. And go all the way down. Again, all down downstrokes in that steady eighth note rhythm. So we'll practice that together in a moment. Let's go ahead and move on to our pentatonic patterns. Now, the pentatonic is a 5-note scale or a 5-note pattern. You'll hear it called one or the other. A scale typically involves 7 notes and has some kind of very clear tonality, as our major scales do. The major pentatonic and minor pentatonic scales are abbreviated versions of these full major scales and minor scales. It's just a 5-note, as the name implies, penta. 5-note scale, and these are really, really handy when you're playing guitar solos and when you're improvising. When you hear country music guitar solos or rock guitar or blues guitar, you're hearing a lot of this pentatonic pattern. So let's start with example 4, which is a G major pentatonic in the low octave. And it's all the same notes we've played, we're just leaving a couple of them out. So here's your low G. Go ahead and play that. Then the open A. Then the 2nd fret. Now skip to the open D. 2nd fret. Open G. Okay. Now we descend, same order. Open G, descending, 2nd fret of the D string, open D, 2nd fret of the A string, open A, and your low. Now the higher octave of the G major pentatonic pattern. This aligns with the higher octave of your G major scale. It's just abbreviated. So starting on your open G, there you go. 2nd fret, open B, 3rd fret, open E, 3rd fret. That's your root note. Okay, now we'll descend, starting on that note we just played, your high root note, down to the open E, 3rd fret of the B string, open B, 2nd fret of the G string, open G. Now, example 6, our G major pentatonic exercise, just plays this whole thing from the bottom to the top and then back down again. So it'll sound like this, and we're including the low E string. That note is in the scale. You know that already because you played it up here and you played it down here. So we're including it so you see the entire pattern laid out in open position. So it goes open E, 3rd fret, A, 2nd fret, D, 2nd fret, open G. We pause for a moment, then we continue. G, 2nd fret, B, 3rd fret, E, 3rd fret, right back down, E, 3rd fret of the B, open B, 2nd fret of the G, open G, 2nd fret of the D, open D, 2nd fret of the A, open A, G. So all together, that might sound like. So now you might see what I mean by a pentatonic pattern. The finger patterns of these scales are very easy to recognize, and they're easy to move to different keys. So that's why the pentatonic scale is so useful, and also because a lot of old-timey melodies and even a lot of primitive melodies from a lot of indigenous cultures use this scale. It's almost a sound that people have always heard in nature, and you'll hear this in all areas of the world in traditional music. So in the country context, you might hear a lick that goes. That's all pentatonic. That's the language we're going to be speaking quite a bit when we get into our guitar solos. So let's go ahead and move on to the practice session and practice these examples together.